Dr. Deb Butler, and you are listening to Thinner Peace and Menopause and Beyond. This is episode number 333. Welcome to Thinner Peace and Menopause and Beyond. This is Dr. Deb Butler, Master Life and Weight Coach, and as always, your coach. If you're a woman and you're smart and you're successful and you've been struggling with weight your whole life, and now menopause is making it harder than ever, and you are ready to make this the last time you ever have to go on a diet again, then this podcast is for you. Stay tuned. Well, hello, all my dear friends all over the world. We are ending summer, if you can believe that one. And I got to tell you, I have had an amazing summer. In fact, maybe some of the things you may know or you may not remember. If you've been listening to my podcast for a while, you may. And if you haven't, this may be new to you. But summer is a time for me that's filled with celebrations because, number one, I have a birthday. And boy, this birthday was a huge celebration. I actually took my son and his wife, who is just like my daughter, and my 3 grandchildren. And those of you, if you're listening for the first time, you may not know the story about my 3rd grandchild. But let me just say, for those of you who've been listening, is that my 3rd grandchild, Azalea, who we call Zaylee, whose middle name is Deb, after yours truly, is 8 months old, almost getting ready to turn 9 months old on my husband's birthday, which will be September 4th, which is something else that we're going to celebrate. But on my birthday, I took that family, my family, and my husband, and we went to Lake Michigan and spent a week because on my birthday, I love to travel and take my family with me. That is how I love to celebrate my birthday. And let me tell you something about birthdays. If you like them to go a certain way, make sure you're the one that plans it. If you're waiting for somebody else to do it for you, to give you what your little mind is thinking, you may be disappointed. So I know what I love to do. And the beauty is that my family loves to do it with me. And we all love to be together. And it was a really breathtaking, beautiful time. We were on the water the whole time, which is another one of my prerequisites for vacation is I have to be on the water, period. And of course we were, and I got to enjoy my grandchildren in real time for a week. And it really was. And just watching my son and watching my daughter and watching that beautiful relationship and that beautiful family and talking to my husband, Michael, and just saying, my son, BJ, has turned into quite the man. And I'm telling all of you because for many of you, you're in the menopausal stage. I know some of you are more around my age. Some of you are a little younger. But I got to tell you that those of you who have children, you're just in for big surprises. That's all I'm going to say. And every time I'm with him and I watch him, I'm surprised. And I also give myself a big pat on the back because I did a lot of work with that boy. And it's just wonderful. And I want you to be able to enjoy the same thing. And if you're not there yet, just know there's a lot of beautiful things coming your way. And it would be a really good thing if you started believing and thinking that now, even if it's not going your way. Now, there's something really important that I want to talk to you today, but I just had to tell you. Oh, wait, I forgot to tell you. Wait, before I go on about my celebrations. So the summer started with my birthday on July 31st, my celebrations. And then August 13th, Michael and I have been married now for, I think, 44 years. And we went to a different body of water on the river and we celebrated that. And now we're getting ready for our 3rd celebration, which will be his birthday. So by the time his birthday comes, he always feels like he gets the short end of the stick because we're all kind of celebrated out, but not this year. This year, I am ready to celebrate his birth and to give it my all. And I'm so grateful for all of this. And this is a summer of gratitude for me and celebration. And I know I've been talking a lot about that on my podcast for all of you, what it's like to celebrate, what it's like to be grateful, and how to put food in a proper place so it's not the centerpiece or the total joy of what you're getting. And that, of course, is what this podcast is all about. But I also like to share just a little bit about my own personal life and then move on to a lesson. So here's the lesson that I want to teach you today. What I notice a lot with my clients, and I'm going to speak about a very personal client of mine today and our session last week, because I think it'll help you too. Because this is what I notice about the women that I'm working with as they start losing weight. So, for instance, this client right now that I'm working with has been really working very, very hard with her food journals and really being able to understand her own physical hunger scale and to work on her emotional hunger scale, to understand the joy fuel meal, to believe that she can eat anything she wants. It's just that when she gets full, it's time to stop. She's doing a lot of that. And she's probably in the middle of the program right now. And I think she's lost about 20 pounds. And I want to tell you about our session last week because I know it's going to help you too. And it's in regards to the scale again, because that scale, I'm going to tell you, is your biggest teacher ever if you use it correctly. So it's either going to help you lose all your weight and stay where you want to be for the rest of your life, or it's going to keep you going in a yo-yo fashion for the rest of your life if you don't learn how to manage your mind around it. So I'm going to give you an example of my client this week. So I get her food journals, and as you all know, those of you who work with me personally and work in my exclusive coaching program, amazing exclusive coaching program, one of the things is that food journals is a major part. And as you've heard from many of my clients who have come on the podcast and talked about their success, they always will say something about food journals. And usually they'll say something like this: I never liked a food journal before, but once I started working with Dr. Deb, I now understand its value and I actually love doing it because I learned so much about myself. So I want to give you an example of that this week of how food journaling is helpful, how the scale you need to learn to manage your mind around, and how losing weight is really easy when you can do those things. So I get the food journals and the homework from this client, and we're talking. And one of the things that she says to me, she says, well, I had a couple fails this week. And what she meant by that is she had a couple of entries in her food journal where there was more fogging going on. And for those of you, if you haven't been listening to my podcast long and don't know what I'm talking about when I say fogging, basically it's overeating or eating a joy food and not mindfully enjoying it, not being mindful about something. And for this client, she has been extremely mindful. She really has been eating between the twos. She really understands the joy fuel meal. So when she told me about this, I knew that this would be the centerpiece of what our coaching would be on, is what caused her to fog. And this is what I want to tell you in the end of how it came about. Because when we first started talking about it, as usual, what she wrote in her food journal is, I told myself to stop. I knew I shouldn't do it, but I did it anyway. And if she wasn't working with me, that might be the end of it. It's just kind of like, I don't know why I did it. A little bit of a beat up session. It wasn't bad. She said she didn't beat herself up, but at the same time, she probably wouldn't have looked at it because number one, it wasn't a lot of food, but it wasn't overeat. And it was something that she hadn't done in a long time. Kind of like she ate a couple pieces of candy and she did something else, little things, but it still was a fog and it still was some strong emotional hunger. Now, when we actually looked at it for a while and I asked questions, probing questions, and those of you who have worked with me before know I ask probing questions, and questions I ask you and your answers are what help both of us understand what goes on in your mind. So I said to her, how much weight have you lost now? And she says, about 20 pounds. And I said, well, what do you really think about that? So, of course, what she says, well, I think it's really great and I'm really happy about it. And then I said this, I said, do you think that it's possible that these 20 pounds means that you deserve something for that, or you should reward yourself for that, or somehow it's okay to be a little foggy. Does that make any sense to you? And as soon as I said that, she said to me, well, I guess I thought that it's possible that it's not that big of a deal and I've lost a lot of weight already. And why not? I think even the way she said it, it was a little bit of a reward for losing weight. Now, that's interesting to me. Is that interesting to you? Like fascinating. There's more weight that she wants to lose. And I'm telling you that wherever you are in your weight loss journey, if you're maintaining your weight, if you've lost a lot of weight, if you've gained some weight, whatever it is, what that scale says, you have got to watch your brain very, very closely about what it thinks about that. Because what I see a lot with weight loss is this idea in the brain of you deserve a break today, you deserve a treat today, you can relax, it's okay, let's just disconnect. And in the end, that kind of disconnection will cause probably, if anything, a plateau in losing weight, or it will cause a weight gain, but it won't help the weight loss. And this is why I think many, many people end up yo-yo dieting all the time because of their thoughts on the scale. Either the scale goes up, I can't do it, it's not working, it's too hard. The scale goes down, this is great, this is wonderful, I deserve a treat. Listen, why would you eat something when you're not hungry? Why would you eat something that's not going to even fuel you when you're not even going to enjoy it? Really? Why would you do it if it's going to give you the opposite result of what you want? Because for many of you, you have neural pathways that are very, very strong into reward with food. And this becomes an opportunity. And it was a huge opportunity for her when I pointed it out. Because really, all she wants to do is keep doing what she's doing. She really does believe at this point that this is easy because she believes that she can eat whatever she wants. She believes that she can be out socially with her friends and still stay connected to herself. And these are things that she did not believe when we first started working together. But this 20-pound weight loss is causing her brain to go down a pathway of, let's reward you for this. Now, thank goodness she was smart enough to hire a coach and to hire me so that when this, what she called a fail, came up, it became an opportunity. Because I asked her, because she's been on this road many times before, just like many of you. How many times have you lost weight, gained weight, lost weight, gained weight? For me, I don't know, 30 times. I think I say on my website, I've lost maybe up to 250 pounds in my lifetime, just losing 20 and 30 pounds over and over and over again. Probably just like you, just like her. And I go, the way that this is going to be the last time is that you see that this little fog eat at this time is not, and I don't know what happened. It's a, oh my gosh, I was trying to reward myself with food, not even fuel food, not eating when you're hungry, but totally using food as a disconnect, as a way of a reward. And it's no reward. There was no reward at all. She wasn't happy about it. She wrote in her food journal, why did I do it? I told myself I wasn't going to do it. She called it a fail with me and almost didn't want to talk about it and didn't want to write it down. But I'll tell you what, when we got off that phone, she was amazed because now she knows about this neural pathway in her brain and she's going to be on to the thought like, let's just have a little something. You've been so good. It's like, no, if I need a little something, I'm going to pat myself on the back and say, sweetheart, you've got this. This is getting easy. You know how to eat when you're hungry and stop when you're full. You know how to combine a joy and a fuel meal together and eat between the twos. And you don't need to do anything else that's going to end up causing you an opposite result because now you know better. This is not a reward. There is no way that this is a reward. Number one, she doesn't care. She loves what she's doing. She believes already that she can eat whatever she wants. She already knows that she's doing what she wants. She doesn't even really want to change it. But her little brain said, reward, reward, reward. You're losing weight. Let's eat. Now, I don't think that that's going to happen again, at least for a while, until her brain gets ahead of her, because our brains do have a way of going back to those old thoughts. But up until this point, she had no idea that that's what was going on. And now she's on to herself. And now she's on to this. And now she can start thinking differently. The reward for her is believing that she can do this. The reward for her is believing that she can be connected to her body, believing that she's the one that controls food. That is the reward. The weight loss is also, it's a reward. It's a reward. Why would you want to stop any of it? Right? Only if you knew that there was another thought hiding in the background, waiting, just waiting for the right time. So now she's got it. Now she knows what to do. And instead of feeling ashamed, because really when we got on the phone and she was talking about her quote unquote fails, she felt a little ashamed of herself. And we got rid of the shame because what's there to be ashamed of? We become curious, not ashamed. What was going on in that little brain of mine, right? And now she's going to be a little bit more onto herself. Oh, she's going to be a lot more onto herself. And she's going to understand the difference between shaming yourself and becoming curious. Sweetheart, I wonder what just happened. I can't wait to be able to figure this one out. And especially when she's coaching with me, a coaching call becomes even more important for her because instead of thinking, oh my God, I don't want to talk to Dr. Deb and I don't want to send her food journals, which let me tell all of you, my clients have those moments where they don't send food journals or they want to cancel an appointment. But most of them, because of the investment and because of the commitment to themselves, don't do that. I think when you're working on your own, it's easier to kind of bow out on yourself and tell yourself something like, you can't do it. You're not strong enough. You can't control yourself. Because if you're working with me, there's no way I'm going to let you do that. And it's not even true. So for this week, I have some homework for you to do. I want you to try something. What I want you to do is I want you to really pay close attention to the scale. Like I'll have a lot of clients say, do you think I should just stop weighing myself? It causes me so much pain and so many problems. Would I be better off not weighing myself? And what I say to them and what I'm going to say to you, get to be friends with the scale and use it as a tool. Because if my client did not know what was going on with the scale, well, she knew exactly what was going on with the scale. But if she decided to hide from it and believe that she failed in a way that she believed that she was ashamed, she wouldn't have learned from it. And it probably would have caused an opposite result of gaining weight. And instead, I guarantee you, when I talk to her next week, everything's going to change for her and she's probably going to lose more weight again. And that's because she knows something that she didn't know before, because she was willing to look and to be coached on it. So with you, if you're gaining weight when you get on the scale, if you're losing weight when you get on the scale, if you're staying the same when you get on the scale, if you're maintaining your weight for a long time and you get on the scale, be very, very careful about what you're thinking and look at it. Now, I'm going to tell you how you're going to know. You're going to have a feeling when you get on that scale, and that feeling is going to lead you to what you're thinking. A lot of times we don't know what we're thinking, we know what we're feeling. So if you get on the scale, like for instance, if you get on the scale and you're losing weight and you have this light feeling, it makes you feel good, it's happy, that's a beautiful thing. But maybe if the thought is, oh, you can loosen up a little bit, you got to watch it. And maybe it doesn't come up when you get on the scale. Maybe it comes up when you decide what you're going to put in your mouth that day. Be very, very careful. If you get on the scale and you're gaining weight, what is your brain going to offer you? Is it going to offer you this isn't working? You're in menopause. Nothing works in menopause. You're never going to do it. You've never been able to do it. See, those kind of thoughts are going to lead to it not working. You're going to prove it. Be very, very careful. You can use weight gain, weight loss, maintenance, when the scale doesn't change at all, as moments of learning something about you and that scale so that you can get what you want, whatever it is. If it's weight loss, if it's staying the same, whatever it is, you can get it by watching your mind. So I want you to be more like my client this week. Food journal. All you have to do, if you want to get my food journals, is go to drdevbutler.com/change, CHANGE. You can get my companion book. And one of the things that are in there are the food journals, and start food journaling this week. And get on the scale and see what you're thinking. And get curious about it. Don't be afraid of it. Get curious about it and see what thoughts come up for you. Maybe you have some old neural pathways, just like my client did, that thought that since I'm losing weight, I can loosen up a little bit. It's okay for me to disconnect from my body. That's all she did. She disconnected from her body, ate things she didn't even care about. Why did I do that? Kind of a thing. But she knows now it was just an old neural pathway. Reward, reward, reward. And I think next time something like this happens, and it will, because she's been losing weight for a while, she can just say to herself, the reward. This is the reward. The reward is knowing that I can do this. The reward is knowing that I am the one that controls this. That is the reward. And what happens from that is weight loss. So that's what I got for you today. Pay attention to the scale. Welcome the scale in. Food journals, look at food journals. Write food journals. Start paying attention to what's going on with you. Hire me if you can't do it by yourself. Or just do it. That's what I have to offer you this week. Start a food journal and pay attention to the scale. And I promise you, if you're willing to look at your own thinking with curiosity, there are so many things to be gained and a lot of things to lose, like weight. So as always, no matter where else you go this week and no matter what else you do, please, please, please be very kind to yourself, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye. If you're loving my podcast and you would like some more information to be able to follow along with, then please go to drdevbutler.com/change, and you can get a free copy of my companion book that goes with this podcast that I refer to in many different episodes. That is drdevbutler.com/change, CHANGE.